Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
And you're very welcome back, and it's time to meet our GP, Dr Pat Harrold. Good morning to you, Pat.
Morning, Frank.
And good to see you today. You're going to talk to us about scabies. You know, I always associate scabies as something that happened years ago to sailors and to the like. What
are the like of sailors? Dodgy characters. Yeah, people who, when you tell them they've scabies, they're mortified. And my pal Dennis Finnerty, who... most people can't believe this, but we sat beside each other in school because he looks about 40 years younger than me. Dennis, I don't know, so that athletics has to be good for you. But Dennis is a chemist shop in Nenagh, and he said, would you ever talk about scabies? Because it's everywhere. And everybody seems to have it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's really breaking out all over the place. So it's, look, it's not a sign that you're necessarily a sailor or a low moral character or you're like this kind of thing. But it is something you catch from other people. Now, you want fairly close contact, but what happens is there's the scabies mite, and you want to think of it like a little rabbit, a little cute little bunny, and it's running around. It makes burrows. Now, there's only 10 or 15 in your body, and but after about 6 weeks after you've had the contact, your body sets up a reaction. I don't like this, and tries to kick them out. So you get this awful itch and scratch, and It's different areas depending on your age. When you're kids, they're often in the sole of your feet. When you're in adults, it's generally the fingers and in between the sort of the webbing between your fingers. And unless you're really, immunocompromised or very young or very old, it doesn't really go above the head. So it's the neck down. So well, you're not scratching yet, Fred. Most people, when I start talking about this, start scratching.
I'm trying not to.
What I do if I'm suspecting scabies, it's awful, especially at night in bed, because when you go in and it's warm in bed, I suppose the little rabbits start getting really excited and running around the place, and you're scratching like mad, and it can be. I get my mobile phone, and I've got an app in it that's got a magnifying glass, and I blow it up, and you can see a little tunnel with a little sort of a red spot at the front and at the back, and in the middle of it there's a kind of a ridge, and that's where they run up and down.
Go on.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
The craters. It is fascinating, Yeah. And so what you do? Well, you go along to your chemist. That is the thing. Like, you go along to Dennis Finnerty or somebody like him, and you get the stuff.
What, like a cream or something?
It is a cream.
Yeah.
And one cream will do an adult from the sort of the neck down. And you have to coat it on and leave it overnight.
It's interesting you can pick it up from other people, because my thoughts in it was related to a lack of proper nutrition or something in some way. Missing out on basic vitamins or no? No, I think you're probably thinking of scurvy. I am.
Scurvy's a lack of vitamin C.
Right, okay.
And the sailors who'd be... it's very hard not to break into song when you're talking about sailors. But anyway, the sailors who'd be to CCC were lacking in this.
Okay.
So they used to get scurvy and their teeth would fall out and this kind of stuff. And they that's why they got hopped on. They used to start having orange trees and board and stuff.
Right, so this is completely
This is a different thing. This is a skin infection. And so you cope, but so you've killed the bugs that are there, the rabbits. But you have to do it again in a week, and you have to change all your clothes, and you have to put them in a wash at 50 degrees. And if you've got something like a teddy or something that can't be washed, you have to put it in a sealed bag for 4 days.
Oh, God. Right.
And because the eggs will patch a week later. And it's a bit of a rigmarole. And a lot of the thing is the embarrassment of telling somebody. The whole house have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a weekend gone.
Somebody telling us here their friend's mother is in a nursing home, and last year she had scabies a number of times, I think 5 times or something like that. But again, that's...
Now, you won't see it in the books, but I think some people are more susceptible to it than others. And I knew a couple of doctors and nurses who seemed to catch it by just talking to someone. Now, that's not physically possible. But they're really... I mean, I've never got it, and the amount of cases I've seen, but I've known them, then they've got it, no problem. Like, just... They seem to be very susceptible to it.
Isn't that interesting?
Now, I don't know. Maybe a dermatologist would explain that better than I do. This is just anecdotal. It's just the stuff I've noticed. But so Now, there is a tablet you can take if it's really resistant, but it's ivermectin, and it's sort of stuff like...
it's Mr. Trump's favourite drug, isn't it?
Stuff don't be talking. But it's something it's kind of really a thing for roundworm and cattle and stuff. Yeah. So it's not something you really... If you need it, you need it. But it's not something you go jumping for first line by a long shot.
Right.
So you're much better off doing the homework and talking to the chemist and go through it and have it written down, and you have to follow the instructions.
Right.
And you have to do it again in a week, and you might have to do it again in a couple of weeks.
But in a classroom, is it like lice? I mean, is it
it's not as contagious as lice.
Okay.
It's not as contagious. The thing about head lice is they love clean hair. So, and the wee girls, all of the heads down together in the playground, they're looking at something and their lovely long hair gets caught up, and head lice is another source of fierce embarrassment. You call around somebody's house, you have the kids sitting there with their heads plastered with bottled up liquid or something like that. Well, I shouldn't be laughing because it is no bloody joke at all, and but then again, I think pharmacists like I'm giving Dennis, I'm really mentioning them here now, but
it's okay, we're going to send him a bill, Pat.
They are the ones who really, will explain to you how to do these things.
Speaking of pharmacists as well, they're now able to prescribe, aren't they? Certain drugs,
certain things. Yeah.
Does that take a bit of the hassle off GPs?
I don't know. There's some things I think they know far more about than I do, like cough bottles and things. And they. There's something very centering about having the thing in front of you. I used to be in what was called a dispensing practice years ago in Donegal, and you had the tablets and you give them to them, and you know what people were on, and instead of just sort of banging off a prescription, it makes you think a lot more.
Okay.
So, look, your pharmacist knows about 20 times more than they're letting on, about everything, and they're great. They're great for us because there isn't a week goes by but the doctor gets a thing saying, is that the thing, or we maybe something that, and we work with them. I work with them, and we work with opticians and work with everybody. So, their prescribing thing, they can prescribe certain things.
Yeah.
It's whether they'd have the facilities to examine as much as we can.
I suppose,
or not even examine, but have investigations and things we can order and stuff. But we'd work together all the time. And the great thing about being in a small town or a country area is, them all, they all know you, and it's all worked out very well.
Of course, that's the way it should be too. You're going to talk to us about COPD as well. What is it?
Yeah, chronic obstructive airways disease. It does what it says. It's a chronic condition of the lungs. Nearly always in smokers, but not always. Now, you had a very interesting man on there. I just heard him driving down from talking about the mines.
Yes.
And some people were exposed to industrial metals and things like that, and especially one called cadmium. Now, I don't know if there was cadmiums in the mines, in silver mines, but cadmium would be used a lot in factories, and I often wonder with the old aluminium factory in Nenagh, was there a lot of cadmium? So sometimes it could be damage to your lungs from things like that, and a very small minority of people have a thing called alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, which means it's a hereditary thing where they just don't have as much of this alpha-1 antitrypsin, so they can develop COPD. And there's 200,000 people diagnosed with it in Ireland, which is a hell of a lot.
Wow.
Is that Croke Park twice? But the interesting thing is that there's about 500,000 have it. So for every one who's diagnosed, there's two, is it? Well, one a bit, who have it and haven't been diagnosed at all. And they're the ones who get short of breath. We look at two things. One is, are you short of breath? If you're walking up the town with somebody the same age as you and the same, like if I'm walking up the town with Dennis Finnerty, do I get a lot more short of breath than he does if I'm huffing and puffing, And the other thing is, how often do you get chest infections? And exacerbations, if you end up in the hospital with pneumonia, we call that a major one. If you end up having to get antibiotics or steroids or both a couple of times, that's a minor one. So you add all this together, and then you're sent for what's called pulmonary function tests. And a lot of your listeners probably have that. You blow into a kind of a tube and they say, keep going. And they get a great look at your lungs. And if you've had it, you have it. And the trick is not to get it get it any worse. So if you smoke, the important thing is to stop smoking, which is now, when we started doing these shows, it was a terrible thing, but now it's there's so much stuff out there. It's easy to stop smoking. There's all kinds of replacements, and inhalers are now. The nebulizers are very old-fashioned. And the things you put in nebulizers are very old-fashioned. Most of the nebulizer stuff goes onto your face. They're not good for your eyes at all. So there is a kind of a thing, people think nebulizers are better than inhalers, but they're not.
They're not.
There's a great noise and great thing, but they're hard to keep clean, and, the inhalers, and you just have to find the inhaler that suits you.
Right.
It's like finding the car that suits you.
So you're not born with COPD?
No.
But are you born sort of prone to it, Cara?
Yeah, you can be. Some people are more. It's a hereditary thing. Great question. Yeah. And some people develop it 40s, 50s. And, the thing they generally do is when they're told that they become what's called a respiratory cripple, they stop exercising completely. Right. And you need to exercise. You need to bulk up your muscle mass. They sit in the house, and in a really bad case now, we just sit in the house. They send the kids down to the shop for the fags, and they don't even walk that far. They're low in vitamin D because they're sitting indoors all day, and they don't have adequate nutrition, and they just sit there smoking, which sounds bleak, but that's what,
An interesting question. One of our listeners is wondering, is it similar to bronchitis, or is it different? And if so, how so?
Yeah, bronchitis isn't a terribly medical term, but bronchitis means it's an inflammation of the bronchioles, the tubes. So bronchitis, you generally say sort of acute bronchitis, which would mean an inflammation, an attack, either a bacteria or a virus.
Yes.
So if you have a cough for a few days, it's probably the virus. The virus generally gets you in the trachea, which is the main sort of tube going down, the one at the front of your chest. That kind of sore coffee thing. Then if it gets sort of the bacterial ones, now this is very broad strokes, it doesn't, for everyone I'm saying, like, so, I had this, didn't I? But when you're recurrent chest infections, though, because in COPD your lung tissue is damaged, and the form is called emphysema, and and then you've got this dirty old chest, and the infection can lodge there very handy. You don't have good functioning lungs.
No. Interesting. And this condition you can get from asbestos. So poor Christy Hennessy killed him in the end. Is there any similarity there?
Well, asbestos is particularly nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve McQueen helped somebody unloading a ship one day with asbestos, and he got a cancer that killed him. There was cancers associated with asbestos, and then there's asbestosis, which is a lung disease. I suppose, to the lay eye, it is a bit like I count myself in that. That's a real respiratory specialist job, and there's asbestosis is a bit different.
Yes,
but.
Yeah, Christy worked on the singer-songwriter, late Christy.
I remember him.
But he worked on the buildings, you see, back in London.
Back in the Don't Forget Your Show.
Yeah.
And I'm a messenger by. Yeah.
And a lovely man.
Yeah.
Really lovely man indeed.
His daughter's a great singer.
Oh, I love her too. Hermione.
Yes, brilliant voice.
Smashing altogether, there's a lot of, maybe it's just the people I'm talking to. Are there an awful lot of stomach bugs going around at the moment? Or is it just the circles I'm in?
Well, you see, you're hanging out with, never mind the sailors, musicians, and you're eating out at chip vans and 2 in the morning, and you're not drinking.
But it seems,
breakfast rolls.
That would be the norm. But there seems to be quite a lot more of it recently. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
not reflecting itself in the practice, anyway, is it? No?
I have them. Most people just sort of don't come to us with it. Now, the people you'd be very careful are the ones who work in the food industry.
Yeah, of course.
And they're, a food factory, something like that. So they get the vomiting and the diarrhea and, one or the other. And if you're sick, is there more than usual? Fran, that's a great question, and I don't know. I just go in and they just come at me, and I don't think about it.
But whatever it is with me, after gigs, people share their it's a bit like people bumping into you, I'm sure. They share their illnesses and their conditions with me, you see. So I hear a lot about that, you know.
Yeah. Well, the thing about people telling me things is I have a kind of it's like shutters coming down in my head. So, you know, when somebody comes in, I generally have a brilliant memory for what they were and what happened and stuff like that. I meet them outside in the town, and it's just a different thing. I just don't recognise them half the time.
Right.
And I don't know what they're... And then somebody says, would you mind me now? Or would you call me? Or will I have that? And, you know, when I open up the shutters, it's a different world. And I can't...
You're in the zone.
I'm in the zone. I can't bloody remember. So don't be telling me things on a Saturday morning that, you know, I will need this on a Monday, because...
But tell me this, I'm really curious. If you're in a pub having a couple of glasses...
How dare you? And I think I'd be in a pub.
By accident.
I might find myself there, yeah.
Do people sidle up to you and say...
All the time.
They do not.
All the time, yeah.
Do they really?
All the time. I have that kind of face, I think.
And what they'd say, look, could I share something?
Yeah, if I go to a wedding or something, and I go up to the bar, and Marisha will say, like, you know, I might get a text, am I ever getting... There's people here waiting for you to get the round, and I'm up there, and
they'd ask your advice. Or
they ask my advice about all kinds of things. They must think right. But I get the ear, and the other thing is the people who start to say, you know, I must come and see you and this and that. You'll never see them, ever. But like, yeah, it's an occupational hazard, you know. And then you're very tempted to say something smart, like take off your clothes and hop up the counter or something, you know. And that's.
But I often feel sorry for you, because even here, when we go to ad breaks, so we all end up sharing our conditions with you as well. You know, it's like,
that's fair enough. You know, I mean. With friends, you don't mind, generally. But you're very afraid of giving the wrong advice, you know. You nearly always say, go back to your own doctor with that and everything like that. Because it's... Every occupation, everybody gets it.
I'm sure.
Look, haven't I been bending Anne-Marie's ear there about stuff there for the last 15 minutes, you know, so I mean, you know what, I'd be asking you about guitars or something next chance I get. Well, so like, that's the way it goes.
You'd always be welcome. When you ask Dr. Pat about a dilated pupil and reason why?
Oh.
Wow.
Dilated pupil, the pupil is the black bit in your eye, and it's surrounded by a thing called the iris. You have blue iris, I have a brown iris. So when iris eyes are smiling, but it's the iris, that's an old medical thing. If it dilates, the sympathetic system is causing it to dilate. They used to put drops called belladonna in to make it dilate. The optician is the person for that. So you could have something called iritis, which is an inflammation of it. It goes with a condition called ankylosing spondylitis. But there's a good view of a bang in the head and dilated pupils isn't a good notion either. So now some people actually have a kind of one is bigger than the other, and it's kind of the way they are. But your optician, now they have the best gear in their places, so they go and they'll be able to do scans of your eye and everything and see if it's healthy or not. So that's where I go, unless it's sore. If it's sore, I get myself to hospital and get the right gear to check it out.
All right, Pat, pleasure as always. Thanks very much for that. Thank you. We'll take a break. We're back with more in just a moment.
Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.